So diving right in, heavy industry is now seriously shifting its perspective towards solar plus batteries. It's almost like the perfect storm for decarbonizing power for industries like mining, cement, and steel.
Yeah, right. The economics are very, very interesting here. Battery packs today are like costing about 90% less than they did back in 2010, which is pretty mind-blowing. That change has flipped the script on cost comparisons with diesel.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the raw cost of panels and batteries, it's also the responsiveness of modern battery energy storage systems. They can react in milliseconds, giving, say, mines and mills a stable, high-quality power supply that meets very tough reliability standards.
Yeah, and that matters so much, especially for operations that can't afford downtime, right? Stable power is absolutely essential.
Exactly. Stability is key. Plus, you've got this added pressure from boards, investors, and even regulators demanding lower carbon footprints. So switching to on-site renewable power not only cuts emissions quickly, but it also ticks a lot of compliance boxes.
Right, exactly. It almost seems like it's a win-win. Reduce emissions, slash costs, and bolster reliability all in one neat package. And don't forget about those tax credits, such as the ones in the US Inflation Reduction Act, which really help to lower that upfront financial barrier.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And there's this intriguing shift with energy as a service contracts. They let plant owners avoid massive capital expenditures, making the transition less intimidating financially.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's get into how companies are actually using these technologies. You mentioned remote off-grid sites. What are some examples there?
For sure. At remote off-grid locations like gold and nickel mines in Mali and Western Australia, operators have set up hybrid microgrids. Essentially, daytime solar handles most of the load while batteries take over the transition, effectively smoothing the handoff to diesel power after sunset. This method is key in slashing fuel use.
Yeah, right. So it's all about seamlessly integrating renewables where traditional grid access is either too expensive or unreliable.
Precisely. And then on the grid-connected side, plants such as those in the cement and steel industries are installing behind-the-meter solar farms. These setups help shave off expensive peak electricity charges, maintain power during outages, and generally cut electricity bills.
That kind of integration really boosts operational resilience. And what about these hybrid energy hubs? I've heard companies are not just sticking to solar and batteries, but are actually mixing in wind turbines and smart controls.
Exactly. It's like creating a symphony of energy sources. Hybrid energy hubs combine solar, wind, and batteries, sometimes with backup generators. They work together intelligently to chase the power demand in real time. Kind of like a well-coordinated team where every player knows when to step up.
Yeah, that's a neat analogy. That certainly paints a picture. And there are some pretty compelling real-world examples, right? Could you, share one of them?
Oh, for sure. Take the Fekola gold mine in Mali. It has a 30-megawatt solar array paired with a 15.4 MWh battery, which now supplies, get this, up to 75% of the daytime power requirement. This smart combination saves about 13 million liters of heavy fuel oil each year.
Wow, that's impressive. 13 million liters. That's like an industrial scale impact in fuel savings alone.
Absolutely. It's transformative. Then there's Holcomb Cement Plant in Colorado, which is building a 33 MWh solar farm with a 38.5 MWh battery to cover roughly 40% of the plant's electricity usage, avoiding over 40,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions each year.
Yeah, that's exactly the type of clean tech integration driving change in these sectors. And not to forget that new steel mill in Arkansas, using a 105 MWh solar array plus a 160 MWh battery, is quite the leap towards low-carbon green steel.
Right. These projects make a much stronger case than pilots ever did. They're showing real, reliable, round-the-clock electricity generation that also cuts operating costs. It's almost like they're rewriting the playbook on industrial power investments.
Yep, no doubt about that. Now, I have a bit of a question here. Everyone's excited about these systems, but what about trust in the technology? I've seen some skepticism that such hybrid systems might face teething issues initially with integration or control reliability.
That's a fair point. The early projects do emphasize integrated controls that need to be set up early on to build operator trust. Once fine-tuned, most sites actually achieve over a 99% power availability, which is really outstanding.
True, but don't you think that if the integration isn't smooth, operators might be too cautious? I mean, a slight hiccup could cost a lot in critical industrial operations.
That's a valid critique. However, the design guidelines stress oversizing the solar array and ensuring the battery duration is long enough, usually 4 hours or more, to cover the evening peak. This design strategy minimizes reliance on backups and, in turn, builds extra confidence.
I see your point. All right, I can get behind that. So, ensuring that the initial setup is robust seems to be a critical learning from these early implementations.
Exactly. And then there's the aspect of expansion. Many mines, once they see such short payback periods, are already doubling their initial solar capacity. It's like you start small, learn from the integration, and then scale up as you trust the system's resilience.
Yeah, scaling up smartly, that's the key. It all seems so methodical and well thought out. The industry isn't taking random risks. They're basing decisions on real savings and proven reliability metrics.
Right, and the bottom line is really compelling. For industries that were once labeled too hard to abate, pairing solar with batteries now appears to be, well, an obvious and bankable option. You can get reliable energy around the clock while lowering costs and meeting the pressure to decarbonize operations.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like these heavy industries finally found the missing puzzle piece. They get to reduce their environmental footprint without compromising on operational efficiency.
Exactly, and that's being driven by multiple factors: plummeting prices, improved technology, supportive regulatory measures, and practical, real-world cases proving the concept.
Totally. So, in your view, is this transition to solar plus batteries in heavy industry a temporary phase boosted by current trends, or is it here to stay?
I'd argue it's definitely here to stay. The economic shift combined with technological advances doesn't look like a short-lived fad. It's a systemic change, one that's effectively rewriting how these industries approach energy sourcing.
Yeah, that's a strong argument. I mean, if you consider that an operation like a mine can start off with a pilot project and, once it proves its reliability, expand significantly in capacity, isn't that a very scalable model?
Exactly. And it's not just about scalability. It's also about robust, flexible power solutions. With integrated controls and hybrid energy hubs, the industry can adapt to changes in demand almost in real time.
That dynamic response is really the game changer. Let's not forget the strategic importance of cutting heavy fuel oil consumption in remote locations. Saving millions of liters per year, as seen in the Fekola gold mine, is a big win. Not only economically, but more importantly, environmentally.
Right, and that environmental win circles back to meeting stricter emissions regulations, which is now a board-level concern. Industry leaders are no longer waiting for perfect tech developments. They're implementing these solutions because the climate and economic benefits are, undeniable.
Absolutely, yeah. So, to sum up, heavy industry is mobilizing around solar plus batteries because it's a technically sound, economically viable way to reduce carbon emissions while ensuring operational resilience and cost savings.
That's right. It's a transformative shift that's no longer optional. It's practically a necessity to remain competitive in a world demanding lower carbon footprints and higher energy reliability.
Yeah, exactly. And as these systems prove themselves further with more real-world data and continuous improvements in design, we're likely to see even more innovation in this space, maybe even further integration of other renewable sources.
Absolutely. And that expansion will only reinforce how critical renewable-powered microgrids and integrated hybrid solutions become in industrial settings. It's an exciting time when decades-old industries are reinventing themselves with new tech.
Right on. Well, it sounds like heavy industry is really on the cusp of a renewable revolution. I'm excited to see how these trends evolve in the next few years.
Me too. It's like they're proving that renewable energy is not just for consumer applications. It can revolutionize even the heaviest, most energy-intensive sectors. Thanks for this engaging discussion.
Absolutely.
Future Keepers is created with generative AI and synthetic media. For more information, visit futurekeepers.world.